Hello, Durud and Shalom. How's my audio? Make sure you like the stream. Okay, I see my favorite people are already here. Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. I think a lot of you saw this. Let me know if you saw this. Let me know if you listened to this because this was historic. And unfortunately, this is not good news. This is not good news at all. Not at all. And the direction where of the politics in the Middle East are going in the wrong way. In the wrong way. And it's mostly because of this guy over here, Mohammed bin Salman. Let me know, guys. Tell me in the chat if you guys watch this because I want to watch this with you and tell you why this was historic, and also explain the significance of it. Let me know in the chat. Also, you didn't mention to me how was my audio. Let me know so I could just continue. All right, here. Let's just wait.
He's a good guy. I'm giving you a build up. Big guy. He is. Yes, sir. That's an easy performance. That's an easy.
Right up. Oh my God. What are you doing?
Well, thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else. And he's the...
Okay, let's just stop right here. In terms of human rights and everything else, do you guys agree with that Mohammed bin Salman has done a good job in terms of human rights? Because if you think allowing people to go to concerts and women driving, that means that you have a good record of human rights. While, did you guys know that executions in Saudi Arabia has increased? Do you know that people who oppose the Saudis are disappearing at a higher rate than before? Did you guys know that when they allowed women to drive in Saudi Arabia, right after they went and arrested the activist who has been fighting for that right for so many years, and they also raped her in prison for it? Did you know that when so many people get arrested with no charges, no rights to lawyers, and they just get executed randomly in Saudi Arabia just because sometimes they're trying to meet a quota? It's absolutely insane. There's no procedures. There's no criminal code. There's nothing. They're just executing people, and it's in Saudi Arabia. Things are getting worse. It's really important for you to understand that political rights and freedom of speech is way more important than social rights. Social rights are sometimes some things that rulers give to people as a way to entertain them and distract the media over the fact that they have reduced their political rights. And so, yeah, that's not a very good point, Mr. Trump.
Crown Prince, the future king, and I just want to pay my greatest respect to your father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, who was at the Oval Office, shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, this guy is fantastic. And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much because here you are, right? So we had a great meeting, and the office has changed quite a bit, and we inherited a mess. You actually...
Oh, the office has changed? Is that why everything is more golden? Is this Trump's addition to the office? Were all this gold stuff there before, or is that Trump's thing?
You told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use.
So Mohammed bin Salman had said that America was dying under Biden, and that's something Trump really likes. If you wanna, if you want to get on Trump's good side, just talk about how bad Biden is, and that usually works. Biden was.
Told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half.
That's is like so. Mohammed bin Salman said America was dead when Biden was in power, and Trump is saying that you said our country was in worse. It was in a really bad situation. I will not use the word that you use. I refuse to say that you said America is dead. So he just said it. Did you guys did you guys catch that? Oh my god. Was he joking? That's a good joke. That's good comedy. We listen to this part.
Yes, you actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use.
I am not going to use the exact word you use, and then he uses it right after.
I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half.
but you said you're not going to use it.
2 years ago. But our country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States.
$21 trillion. Do you guys believe that? Do you guys believe that there's going to be $21 trillion invested in the United States because of what Trump did? Again, guys, I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not for Trump. I tell you, he has done many things that I like, and I say it when he does things that I like, but I think that is good. But do you guys believe this number? I will tell you why you should not believe this number.
Or committed to invest.
Or committed to invest. Basically, empty promises. $21 trillion that they do not have, including $600 billion.
Biden, as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not, to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. They were less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be $21 trillion for 1 year. I think that's
$21 trillion says you. Like, where is that money? Have you guys seen that money? I don't think you're going to see that.
Hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, $3 trillion. We're going to be $21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices, the worst inflation in the history of our country. We had inflation that was a single 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States.
Okay, I hate Biden, but the inflation, he had Corona and the war with Ukraine started. Biden has done so many shitty things that deserves criticism, but the inflation is not one of them. The inflation was because of the coronavirus and Russia attacking Ukraine. So I don't know. Yeah.
Gas prices through the roof. And that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline. But we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that. It was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down. But the biggest thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than in history. The highest number was $3 trillion. and we're going to be at 21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have
Guys, if anybody believed this, the stock market would be like exploding right now. Like this is like unbelievably high numbers that doesn't make any sense.
auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan. Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this. And it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going
You use tariffs to bring all the money in. Okay.
to see the results in
Tariffs are inflationary.
a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States.
He doesn't. Hey, Trump. He doesn't have $600 billion. He doesn't have it. I know he doesn't have it. I checked the numbers. He doesn't have it. And you know, I know. I mean, I think Donald Trump knows he doesn't have it, but he has something else. He has something else, guys. The real money is being spent somewhere else. Let me know if you understand what I'm talking about.
States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But
Why not? Why not? Just 600 billion. Why not just make it $1 trillion? Make it $1 trillion.
it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher. Yes, sir. I don't know. We'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants.
The entire GDP of Saudi Arabia is $1.2 trillion. That's their GDP. How could they invest $1 trillion in the United States if that's their entire GDP? I mean, their government deficit is increasing every year. They're running out of cash. They don't have enough money for their own projects in Saudi Arabia. I mean, if they had $1 trillion to invest in the United States, their projects, like, why are they running behind so much on their Vision 2030 plan? Why are they running behind if they have $1 trillion to just invest in the United States? Why can't they invest in their own projects? Why are they going around the world begging people to invest in their own projects for Vision 2030 if they have the money to invest themselves? Guys, the investments that Saudi Arabia has in the United States is right now is around $12 billion. $12 billion. And they're like, oh yeah, they're gonna give us 600. And also, not only is $12 billion, they actually have decreased it in the past couple of years. They have increased their investments in. But what's really happening here, by the way, guys? What is really happening? Why are they telling us these astronomically high, unbelievable numbers that doesn't make any sense based on what Saudi Arabia can actually do? And what is Saudi Arabia getting out of this? And what is Trump getting out of this? Okay, I'll let you know. And this is not good. And I tell you as an Iranian, what's happening here is not good for Iran, and it's not good for Israel. And it's actually not good for United States either. And I'll tell you why. But let's just keep going.
In companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs. A lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else.
You did not wipe it out. You delayed it. I mean, you delayed it. You did a good job delaying it. It's not wiped out. This is why you keep trying to negotiate with the Islamic Republic, because you think that they have no more nuclear program. They have. They're having. First of all, they still have the enrichment, their uranium, the already enriched uranium from before, which could be turned into nuclear bombs. Also, they're enriching somewhere else deeper on the ground. How do you not know this? How do you not know this? You should know this. Your own intelligence knows this. So how are you saying like, oh my, it's gone, guys? The only country that completely removes nuclear programs of unfriendly countries to the West is Israel. Israel did that with Iraq. It did that with Syria. And if United States gets out of their fucking way, they will do the same thing with the Islamic Republic in Iran. So no, you did not end their nuclear program. It's still ongoing. And unless Israel does something about it, the whole world has to pay a huge price for that. Again, you guys, never has America like, look at North Korea. North Korea, America, you were supposed to stop North Korea from becoming nuclear. They're nuclear because you relied on negotiations and signing paper and appeasement and stuff. You failed with North Korea. Israel didn't fail. Israel effectively stopped Syria, Iraq's nuclear program. So please get out of the way for Israel to also completely end the Islamic Republic's nuclear program by regime change. That's the only way. The only way to stop the Islamic Republic's nuclear program is regime change. But no, you didn't stop it. You just delayed it.
A lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nope. Nobody else could have done that. No other president would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And they said, sir, for 22 years, we practiced this attack. Our predecessors, these were very young guys. So 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year, they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along. And I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together.
So, guys, you know what? This was a huge historic deal, and it was very significant, and it's changing the direction where everything is heading. And let me know if you understand. Let me know in the chat if you understand what Mohammed bin Salman is getting out of it. And then let me know if you understand why it's very significant, and also what Trump is getting out of it, and how is Israel related, because we're going to get there.
For a long time, but today it's a very important time in our history, because there is also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of the United States of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America. And it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, in today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment, and real opportunity by detail.
Why not? Why not? It's all make-believe money anyways. By the way, he didn't tell him this until now. This is the first time Trump is hearing it, that he now increased the promise of $600 billion to $1 trillion. To $1 trillion of like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, this, it seems like I could just make up numbers and people are going to be like, oh my God, this is not any signed agreements. This is not no commitments. This is just, hey, why not? I'm just going to say 1 trillion. I mean, he's going to be gone in 3 years. So who gives a shit? If I say these big numbers, it seems like I'm going to get a whole bunch of deals out of it by just promising them without actually delivering on any of them. So why, if he really wants to hear the number 1 trillion, it doesn't really cost me to say 1 trillion. I mean, the $600 billion was already made up. So why not just say 1 trillion? Given that he really wants to hear the number 1 trillion. So yeah, sure. Let's go 1 trillion.
Almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment, and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the 600 billion will be 1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing, it will facilitate that. And
I like that very much.
Yeah, it's just another 400 billion. Who's counting? Who's counting? Yeah, sure, and sure you have that. Who here actually thinks that Saudi Arabia has $1 trillion to invest in the United States? Their government deficit is increasing every single second. They are running out of cash. They don't have enough for themselves. What are you talking about? They want to increase their already existing investments from 12 billion to 12, not 120, 12 to $1 trillion. Who thinks that is possible?
He works hard for that. No, that's great. I appreciate that.
Neil Bunny is saying over what period of time? Over any period of time. Their government deficit is increasing. Their situation is getting worse. They don't have enough to, if like the longer period, like, it doesn't really matter because they don't have it. I mean, here's the thing: it only, as long as it has to start in a period after Trump is gone, then they don't have to deliver. Here's the thing: as long as these promises are about things that are going to happen in more than 3 years from now, then if they don't do any of these things, who gives a shit? Trump is not in office. They were making these promises to Trump.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's
look, Kivile, how happy he knows how happy Trump gets hearing.
Facilitate that, and
I like that very much.
He works hard for that.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing that.
Definitely,
you don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades, preparing the right foundation of America.
So let's get this straight. What is Saudi Arabia getting out of these deals that they're having right now? Okay, so what is the actual deal? Okay, so here's the list. Mohammed bin Salman is getting a green light to buy F-35 fighter jets, and we need to talk about that because this is really bad for Israel, right? So some other 300 Abraham tanks, access to advanced U.S. chip technology, U.S.-Saudi nuclear cooperation agreement, major NATO-like agreement for United States to be supporting Saudi Arabia. So strong U.S. security guarantees. So Mohammed bin Salman is getting a lot from this. But Trump, other than the promise of $1 trillion in investments, which is only going to work for, how does that affect Trump? Trump is going to be able to use that as a way to show that, oh, I'm bringing jobs to the United States. So even if he doesn't deliver, the point is that it's something that you could say that, oh, eventually this is going to bring jobs. But is that all? Because obviously we haven't seen $1 trillion investment at all yet. So what is Trump getting in return of all of this, other than, because this is a huge favor, especially the F-35s. This is a huge favor for Saudi Arabia. So what is Trump getting out of it? Let me know in the chat if you know what is Trump getting out of this. Let me know if you understand.
Emerging technologies, that's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable.
Yeah,
some of the plants that
people saying oil, no oil. I mean, they sell the oil. I mean, United States is an exporter of oil, not an importer of oil. So why would they buy Saudi oil? I think Kija got it right. Yes, exactly. Michael is also getting it. Trump's family is getting the actual money. Guys, there is no $1 trillion. There is no $600 billion. The money that Mohammed bin Salman needs to spend to get his way with America, to buy America, is so much less, because he doesn't have to invest in America, because that would be a big money that he doesn't have. He only has to invest in Trump's family. And that would be so much cheaper. That's such a cheaper way to buy America. And this is something that Saudi Arabia can do that Israel can't. Israel is a country that is dragging their prime minister in and out of the court for during a war for a bunch of cigars and some champagne that he got gifted. So, I mean, that's a democracy. That's how democracies usually operate, right? They hold their officials accountable. So you cannot just go and bribe the president's family if you're a democracy. That's not what democracy is. Democracies are limited in stuff like that. I mean, think about it. Netanyahu is paying a huge price for years for some corruption cases, which is nothing compared to the corruptions that the Saudis do, for example. So in a country that is a democracy and there's checks and balances and there's accountability and shit like that, you cannot just go and, I don't know, invest a couple of $1 billion in the businesses of Trump's son or Jared Kushner, for example, or Witkoff. You cannot get away with that. But Saudi Arabia can do that. And that's a lot cheaper than $1 trillion of investments in United States. And it gets you a lot. Oh, thank you, Amir, for the hashtag saying save Bita Shafi'i. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate the support. You guys understand what's happening here?
The numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. You know, some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front and all of the some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made, please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Vernova. And if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova as we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And we love that state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody. Great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you. So just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend. And I very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
You keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
You know, each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well, the opportunities, right? You know, we're doing better if even if you look.
I mean, why? I mean, nobody's stopping you. Just say it's $2 trillion. Why not $100 trillion? Just, I mean, he's accepting, he's believing everything you say. Just say, how about $200 trillion? How about that?
Like 6 months ago, I mean, all of a sudden you feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Well, I mean, that's part of
When he says, Marco, do you want to talk about that? It means that Marco knows things that I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Marco, please help me out here. By the way, Marco Rubio is the person who should be sitting here. I don't know. Would it ever happen, guys? Marco Rubio as president, he will save all of us from this nightmare.
Right now, Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Well, I mean, that's part of what we may have announcements on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which
This is the guy that we want. This is the guy we want as president, and it probably will never happen.
something on that later today. But that's what we've been working on is the mechanics by which something like that could be achieved. And it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips. Yeah.
And for the Crown Prince, Your Royal Highness, you're talking about $1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
We are not creating a fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand of, a huge need of computing power, and we're gonna spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're gonna have with South America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in the short term by $50 billion from the South America, and long term with hundreds of billions of dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our need in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president?
There you go. Okay. So now somebody is asking the good question. So one challenging question is, your family is doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're doing all of this. So this is how it works, right? Saudi Arabia is using their own wealth fund and government budget to invest in Trump-owned businesses, businesses owned by Trump's family, in return for everything that Trump is doing for Saudi Arabia. And again, I will let you know why this is really bad for both Iran and for Israel. But somebody is asking a challenging question, which you know what's coming. If you ask a challenging question from Trump, you're going to be labeled as fake news, worst of the worst. We'll see.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
Oh, so it's three challenging questions. One, your family is benefiting from the investments of Saudi Arabia. Okay. Two, this motherfucker killed Khashoggi, and you're being all chummy with him. Three, the family of 9/11, the victims of 9/11, are upset about you being so chummy with them. So what do you have to say about that? Honestly, I think the third one is less fair than the first one too, because it's true that the support for the 9/11 attacks came from Saudi Arabia. We do have evidence for that, but I don't know if it actually goes all the way to Mohammed bin Salman. I haven't seen any evidence for that, but the first two are pretty fair questions.
Orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office. Why should Americans
Who are
trust
you
you?
with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You're with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
But the
worst.
question is,
One of the
sir.
worst in the business. But I'll answer.
Fake news. Again, guys, if you ask challenging questions, you're fake news. But if you say, oh my God, Trump, why you're so amazing? Why are you just the best? Then you are the best news.
Your question. I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy.
I have nothing to do with the family business. It's your family. Oh my God.
With the family business, I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business.
He's saying I devoted my 100. Okay, he's saying when I'm president, I devote my energy to being a president, and that's my family. Okay, when you stop being a president, then you're gonna go back to your family's business. It's your son. It's your daughter. It's Jared Kushner. This is your family's business. Like, are you honestly thinking? Are you honestly? Oh my God, pretending that this has nothing to do with you just because? Well, I'm not paying attention to that, so that's separate from me. Yeah, sure. And it's just a coincidence that all of this is happening at the same time. Let me actually tell you what's happening. Just a few examples. Hold on. There's a okay. So Trump. Okay, so we have a Saudi developer. I think it's called Dar something. Hold on, let me see. Darul. Yes, Dar Global. Okay, who is investing billions? Hold on. Yes. So this is a Saudi developer that is investing in Trump's projects. Trump owned projects in Maldives, $100 billion Saudi Trump real estate project in Jeddah. Then we have Trump organization got $50 million from Saudi businesses deals in 2024. Jared Kushner got $2 billion from Saudi sovereign wealth fund. Kushner personally gets $125 million in fees from that. And then Saudis plus Kushner, they bought EA Games for $55 billion. And then there's also the golf resort, golf league hosts events that Trump that happens on Trump's properties. The golf events, I don't know my golf, I don't know what these things are, but there's a whole bunch of golf tournaments that happens in properties owned by Trump, and the Saudis are sponsoring a lot of that. So you can see there's a lot, like the list keeps going on and on and on. And Trump's own son is constantly in Saudi Arabia doing deals after deals after deals right at the time, and these all picked up in Trump's second term. Like, they were there before, but they picked up now more in Trump's second term. So this is where the real money is being exchanged. The whole $600 billion and now $1 trillion is just make-believe money. The real money, which is a lot cheaper for Saudi Arabia, which they can afford. This is like these numbers: $100 billion, $50 million, $2 billion, $125 million, $55 billion. These are numbers that are affordable for Saudi Arabia. Buying a family is cheaper than investing $1 trillion in a country, right? These numbers are affordable, and it's good enough to buy America. If you buy, like right now, Saudi Arabia is like, oh my God, I found a cheat code. Like, this is the first time. Like, guys, America has never been for sale this easily. Like previous presidents, their rules and the and all the different loops that you had to go through to meet politicians, the transparency that people had. Like, yeah, they had some crazy rules regarding what counts as a donation, and there was so much oversight. There was checks and balances for, even if you like invite politicians to a meal, that the cost of that meal had to be reported for transparency's sake. Right now, Trump's family has a cryptocurrency that you could just, anybody anywhere in the world can just buy into and make them wealthier by just buying the cryptocurrency. It has never been easier to just bribe the White House like this. It's insane. Like, this is not how America used to be. Like, it's only like this under Trump, unfortunately. Again, I'm not somebody with Trump derangement syndrome. There are many things that Trump has done that I really, really like. For example, his policy over border security. He really did a good job in stopping mass migration, illegal migration coming to the United States from the South. As an Iranian, I really, really appreciate him killing Qasem Soleimani. Many Iranians are grateful to this day. We're so grateful for that. So I'm not somebody with the Trump derangement syndrome, but this is insane. The fact that you could just come and, again, Israelis in the chat, your prime minister has so many corruption cases over some cigars and a bottle of champagne. This man, Trump, has opened so many doors for people to enrich his family. Okay, and this explains why Israel is feeling more and more isolated, and why United States is moving closer to Saudi Arabia. And I will tell you what are those, how that costs Israel, because there's in two ways right now. One of them in F-35s. Okay, the F-35s is a huge betrayal. The selling of F-35s to Saudi Arabia is a huge betrayal of Israeli interest, a betrayal by United States. And then another one is regarding the Islamic Republic in Iran. But let me stop talking for now on. Let's see how he responds to this journalist. So we had three challenging questions were asked. One, if your family being in Saudi Arabia and doing business deal, is there a conflict of interest? He answered that. He said that, well, I'm separate from my family, so apparently not. Let's see how he answers the Khashoggi. He said this Mohammed bin Salman killed Khashoggi. Okay, he did. He was involved. He was directly involved. So how does Trump respond to that?
It's all over. They've done 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now.
Yeah, nor can you. Neither can you.
As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about, whether you like him or didn't like him.
So Mohammed bin Salman ordered the assassination of Khashoggi. They killed him. They sawed him into tiny little pieces, and they put him in an acid bath and turned him all liquid, and they got rid of him. Okay? And they're asking Trump about, like, what about that? And Trump is like, did you know not that many people liked him? Okay. What do you guys think about that answer? Like, did you guys know that he wasn't a very well liked person? Did you guys know that? It was a very controversial person. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Somebody's saying allegedly. No, it's not allegedly. This has been confirmed by the CIA. Somebody's saying he had 4 wives. Oh, I guess he deserves to be killed and cut into pieces and then dissolved in an acid bath for having 4 wives. I don't know why he's saying that. I don't know why he's talking about him not being a very good person.
He's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about, whether you like him or didn't like him. Things happen, but he knew nothing.
Things just happen, guys. First of all, let me remind you that a lot of people didn't like him, Khashoggi. Also, it doesn't matter if you liked him or didn't like him, even though I'm the one who brought it up. Things happen. Things happen. You just like, oopsie. I did a clumsy, I did an oopsie, and I was assassinated, and I was chopped into pieces, and then I was dissolved into an acid bath. Oopsie. Things just happen sometimes. What the hell?
That you're talking about, whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave.
Oh my God, look at that face. He said, but he knew nothing about it. Guys, who disagrees with Trump? He's saying Mohammed bin Salman didn't know anything about the assassination of Khashoggi. Who disagrees with Trump? Do you guys know? Anybody in the chat knows? And look at Mohammed bin Salman's face. Like, I think he yeah, exactly. He gave the direct call. He did give a direct call. Mohammed bin Salman was the person on the phone giving the orders. When I ask you who disagrees, it's the CIA. The CIA had a report coming with the conclusion that Mohammed bin Salman was directly involved. So Trump is disagreeing with his own intelligence unit, the greatest intelligence operations done like in the world. Like, I mean, I don't know who's better, guys, Mossad or CIA? Who's higher? At least one of the best, right? It's hard to have better information than the CIA. I mean, Trump is basically, does he not know that the CIA has a report saying that Mohammed bin Salman was the person involved and the person who gave the direct orders to kill Khashoggi? Does he not know that? Or does he know that, but he's basically going against his own intelligence department? Mossad, Torah in the chat saying Mossad number one. Well, you're Israeli, so you might be biased. Okay. Mossad is better than the CIA? But look at Mohammed bin Salman's face when he says, this man had no idea. Look at his face.
Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to.
Did you see that face? I think, I don't know.
To embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just you ask, Mr. President, you allow me to
Guys, oh my God, thank you to the Russian Atheist Republic who gave 50 memberships to the people in the chat. 50! Holy cow, wow. Thank you so much. Everybody is a member now. Thank you. Okay, wow. That's crazy. Thank you so much for the support.
That you don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just you ask, Mr. President.
You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that. So no challenging. So what the hell are the reporters doing there? You don't have to embarrass our guests. Like, so no challenging questions. Holy cow, guys, the Russian Atheist Republic just gave another 50 memberships to the people in the chat. Another 50 memberships. That's 100 memberships. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Oh, I need to make more member-only content. 100 memberships. That is insane. Thank you.
And we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just you ask, Mr. President, you allow me to answer. You know, I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people in that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia, it's bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to.
Yeah, when it comes to the 9/11 thing, I don't know. I don't think he was involved. I know there were a lot of Saudis involved, but I want to focus on the first two. So I don't blame this guy for 9/11, but I do blame him for killing Khashoggi and also, a whole bunch of other things, actually, like the massacre of Yemeni people. But yeah, but the two first questions are on point. The third question, there are some Saudi princes that were involved. I don't know if he was involved.
Approve him wrong, and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation, it's critical in the safety of the world. It's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life.
Again, Russian Atheist Republic, thank you so much for the membership gifts.
For no real purpose or nothing illegal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all.
Yeah, guys, Nailbunny, I know I'm not saying Khashoggi was a good person I know he was better later on in his life, I think, but earlier I know he had some questionable past. Still, killing a journalist for his criticism of the Saudis and then doing that to him is like never, obviously not justified.
The right steps of investigation, etc., in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President, on this side, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria. Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like me. The Palestinians like me. The Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think.
Wait, did the reporter say I'm from Palestine or Pakistan?
Oh,
The reporter said I'm from Palestine or Pakistan?
Any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit Damascus?
Are you from Syria?
No, but
where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like me. The Palestinians like me. The Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people that.
There is no such thing as a Palestinian. I mean, unless you're a terrorist.
Make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting. No, I think that I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here. We had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria's.
The Russian Atheist Republic is saying, oh my God, identifying as a Palestinian is getting more and more normal. Yes, we should not accept that, guys. Anybody who says, I'm a Palestinian, just say, what's that? Okay, and then if they say, I mean, the Palestinian, they're people of Gaza, people of Judea and Samaria. That makes sense to me. But there is no Palestinian identity. There is no Palestinian nation. It's completely, we should not accept that identity.
The leader of Syria was just here. We had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria's made tremendous progress. We did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia?
This is important, guys. So here's one of the betrayals I wanted to talk about. So this is part of the why this is bad for Israel. So part of this deal that is happening is that United States is selling F-35s to Saudi Arabia. Let me know in the chat if you understand why this is horrible for Israel, that Saudi Arabia is now getting F-35s. Please remember that in the Middle East, nobody other than Israel has F-35s. In that whole area, it was only Israel until now, and now Saudi Arabia has F-35s. By the way, also know that Turkey wanted F-35s, was waiting to get F-35s for ages, and they never gave it to Turkey. But now Saudi Arabia is getting them. And please explain to me in the chat so I know if you understand, and I will explain it to you if you don't know. But let me know if you understand why this is really, really this is a betrayal. This is United States betraying Israeli interests in the Middle East.
Can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going
a
to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going. So I won't refer to anything having to do with
That was not the question. I think he didn't understand the question. Did he understand the question? We got a super chat by Amir. Amir saying, if anyone said Palestine, answer is Judea. Yep, that's a good answer. Yep. Thank you.
South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35,
I think he doesn't know what the journalist is referring to. I think the journalist was referring to the planes that they're basically getting some Palestinians who voluntarily themselves have paid for some flights to go to South Africa, and people are like, "Oh my God, ethnic cleansing!" Even though these people in God, I don't know where is it from, so-called Palestine, are paying themselves for these plane tickets to leave that area. How is it ethnic cleansing when they are leaving themselves? Anyways, I think that's what she's referring to, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Trump doesn't know what's happening, so he just heard South Africa, and he was like, "Well, I don't like those people, anyways."
to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But
I mean, he's not wrong though about South Africa behaving very badly. He's not wrong about that, but that wasn't the question.
will say that when you look at the F-35, and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar. Yeah, you know,
How will that
this
affect-
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber.
If Israel is a great ally, why are you betraying them? Why are you removing their air superiority in the Middle East?
I don't think that makes.
I mean, the difference is that you're like, oh, this is a great ally, and Israel is a great ally. The difference is that Israel's government is a reflection, I mean, more or less a reflection of the people. The state is a reflection of the nation. Saudi Arabia isn't. In Saudi Arabia, you could have an Islamic revolution at some point. There are a whole bunch of Muslim Brotherhood and Wahhabis who are waiting for their day to do a revolution in Saudi Arabia and destroy the House of Saud. Guys, the House of Saud and the House of Wahhab have gone through a divorce, and the House of Wahhab is very angry about this, and they want to destroy the House of Saud. The Saudis, guys, please let me know if you understand that the Saudis hate Islam. Do you guys knew that? Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that the Saudis hate Islam and they're desperately trying to find ways to rid themselves of Islam because it's basically getting in their way? The problem is that they have done a lot of suppression of people, of these Islamist group expressing themselves, but they're still there. Just because we see all these concerts and all of these women dancing, and now apparently they're going to sell alcohol in Saudi Arabia, that doesn't mean, just because the people who are Islamists have been suppressed to the point where we don't see them anymore as much as we used to, it doesn't mean they're not there. Saudi Arabia could be a ticking time bomb, especially if with alternative source of energies, the price of oil and gas plummets and the whole government collapses because of that. Those people are waiting for their day to come back, and they will destroy every single Saudi member of the Saudi family that they could get their hands on, because they are very angry. They feel very, very, very betrayed. So investing in Israel makes sense, because in Israel, when you're investing in Israel, you're investing in the people of Israel. Okay, it's the people of Israel that are pro-America. It's not just the U.S. It's not just the state in Israel. It's not just the government of Israel. It's the people of Israel. That it's a more stable investment when you invest in Israel. When you invest in Saudi Arabia, your friendship in Saudi Arabia, you're investing in a house of cards that could collapse at some point, because the state is not a reflection of the nation. Okay? You don't have the backing of the nation. You have just the backing of a few princes. There's a huge difference. There's a huge difference there. So no, you cannot compare. And this is why this is one of the reasons why this is dangerous. Because you're giving F-35s to a country where tomorrow it could be go back to being a radical Islamist country. We don't know what's going to happen. Israel is not going to turn into a radical Islamist country. Saudi Arabia might, and now they have F-35s.
This is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
So let me tell you why why Saudi Arabia shouldn't get the top of the line. Okay, so, and guys, this is not just what I'm saying. This is what the Israelis are saying, right? So once Saudi Arabia gets these F-35s, Israel loses stealth advantage because the F-35s in Saudi air bases, that means that Israeli just get detected, right? And then Saudi bases are 4 minutes away from Israel. 4 minutes away. If Saudi Arabia becomes a country that has F-35s this close to Israel, defending against that becomes very, very difficult and very, very expensive. Like Israel for its survival, now that an Islamic country this close to it has F-35s, Israel needs to spend so much more money in improving its defense capabilities. So we have escort disadvantage. The Israeli F-15 escorts become less useful because of this sale. Longer wait times for Israel because Israel is going to need more F-35s, but now because the Saudis are ahead of them with their orders, because these things take a long time to build. So now that the United States is building F-35s for Saudi Arabia, Israel has to wait a long time to be able to get F-35s itself because now they're ahead. It gets worse. This is a huge open door for Turkey because Turkey wanted F-35s. They never got them. And now that United States is giving F-35s to Saudi Arabia, it's going to be very difficult to justify not giving F-35s to Turkey. So Turkey is going to use this as a leverage to say that we need F-35s as well. And let me tell you guys, Turkey getting F-35s, that's a huge nightmare for Israel. That's a huge nightmare for Israel. And also this also violates a U.S. rule, which is because the United States was committed to the military superiority of Israel in the region. So this goes against that, which is a huge betrayal. And then, yeah. And by the way, a lot of the F-35 technology comes from Israel. So now Saudi Arabia has access to a lot of Israeli technology. But here's another thing. There's a China factor here as well. Because other than this being against Israeli interests, this is also against U.S. interests. Why? Because Saudi Arabia and China are now working very closely with each other. And a lot of people are concerned, including a lot of people within the U.S. intelligence are concerned that this means that China is going to get access to this technology. And this is going to be very bad for United States. But again, Trump doesn't care about that because Trump cares about, I don't know, all the money that Saudi is giving to his family. So if the Saudis get F-35, China may gain access to U.S. stealth technology because Saudi Arabia and China are growing security partnership. And a lot of U.S. intelligence officials see this as a major national security risk. And by the way, Israel is reacting to all of this. There's a lot of Israeli generals, intelligence, and political leaders who say that this weakens Israeli security. And also, this is increasing the anti-Netanyahu hate in Israel. If you don't know, the Netanyahu. There are some people, Netanyahu. There are some people in Israel that are more and more turning against Bibi, and that's increasing. And this adds to that because of this deal. A lot of people claim in Israel that Netanyahu has lost the ability to defend Israeli interests given that United States is now moving closer to Saudi Arabia to the point that they're selling them F-35s. But Israel, I think, is now trying to block the sale. I don't know if they are, or because that would piss off Trump. Because I've correct me if I'm wrong, but the sale of F-35s to Saudi Arabia has to be approved by Congress. However, Congress has been very weak and pathetic recently, so I think they're not going to cause a lot of trouble. But maybe some Israelis are trying to see if they could block the sale of these F-35s in Congress. Or at least, if we cannot do that, because Trump will be very pissed with Israel if that happens, at least maybe pressure United States to make the sale of the F-35s to Saudi Arabia condition, give it a condition, and the condition being that Saudi Arabia has to join the Abrahamic Accord without requiring Israel to recognize Palestine as a state. Right? So Saudi Arabia has said that me joining the Abrahamic Accord comes with the condition of Israel recognizing Palestine. But now maybe some Israelis want to push United States to make it so that the sale of the F-35s to Saudi Arabia should be good enough. That's a good enough point towards Saudi Arabia for them to just come and join the Abrahamic Accord without asking Israel to recognize Palestine as that would be. I think if that doesn't happen, this is a huge loss for Israel. If Saudi Arabia gets the F-35s and still demands Israel to recognize Palestine before joining the Abrahamic Accord, this was a huge betrayal of Israel. Huge betrayal. At least what Israel should get out of this is at least Saudi Arabia joining the Abrahamic Accord with no other conditions. That should be the least of it. Anyways, let's see.
Both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
I just ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct talks between
That's all right. I'll see 1 second. Go ahead.
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your discussion?
I already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
Please do not mention Palestine one fucking time. Okay? Let's see if so we're talking about Abrahamic Accords. Okay? Is he going to mention Palestine as a condition or not? If he does, then fuck you. Let's see.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so definitely we believe having a good relation with all of these Eastern countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Abraham Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today,
shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. There is no two-state solution. There's only there has always been only one state over this all of that land has always been Israel. It should always be Israel. What the fuck are you talking about? Are we still talking about this two? Who still thinks that the two-state solution is viable? Who thinks that? Who thinks that? Why are you being so? Stop it. Just stop it already. Okay, guys, so he basically mentioned Palestine by saying the two-state solution.
Sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with
build more settlements in Judea and Samaria. Build more settlements. Make these every time somebody says two-state solution, that should be that should be a whole new, like, the response to every single mentioning of a two-state solution by world leaders should be one more settlement in Judea and Samaria, so that they can see that every time you push for a two-state solution, we're going to go farther away from it. Okay,
secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as
I
possible.
mean, the audacity. You got F-35s and you're getting US chips and you're getting a NATO-like security guarantee, and that was not good enough for you to join the Abrahamic Accord. You want more? You want more? Holy shit, guys, we got another 50 super chats from Russian Atheist Republic. So 150 overall. Amazing. Guys, I thought we were Zionist funded. We're being funded from Russia, apparently. We're Russian funded. Thank you so much for the membership, for gifting people memberships in the chat.
To have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk.
KJ saying, I cannot take it. Why? You guys need to go into your settings and turn on accepting gifts. You need to switch it on so you could accept gifts.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too.
Okay, so wait, Trump said we didn't talk about commitment. Okay, so what is it?
The right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to get nuked off of YouTube if I say
the Israelis, we want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region, and we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Oh.
You cannot coexist with terrorists, guys. There is no coexisting with people who are set on ending you. Okay? The only way to deal with people who want to destroy you is to destroy them before they destroy you.
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that, and are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close ally. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the rest of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will set.
Oh wait, that was important. This is another betrayal.
Saudi security interests. So I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you?
Okay, the direct talks between United States and Iran. She means the Islamic Republic. Okay, so guys, remember I told you that Israel has been betrayed, and this was really bad news for Israel. So the first part was about the F-35s, and here's the second part, and this is actually even more important. I mean, this has been going for a while, but now you could put two and two together and see why this is all happening, right? So remember, the Saudis are spending a lot of money in Trump family-owned businesses and making them very, very rich, richer than they were. They're like much richer than they were before, even though they were already billionaires. And in return, they're getting a lot of favors for Saudi Arabia. So here's the question. What does this got to do with Iran and Israel? So the question now, the journalist is asking about the talks between United States and the Islamic Republic in Iran. And interestingly, even though the Islamic Republic and the Saudis are enemies, in this case, they have some mutual interest, because the Islamic Republic wants to stop Israel attacking the Islamic Republic. They want to try to find a way to get United States to stop Israel, because that's what they need for their survival. But Saudi Arabia also doesn't want a war, between Israel and the Islamic Republic, or between US and the Islamic Republic. Do you guys know why? Because every time there's war in the Middle East, investments leave the Middle East. So every time we have war around Saudi Arabia, close to Saudi Arabia, what that does is that increases the perception of instability and risk. So the future cash flows of investment are discounted at a higher rate. That means that if you want to attract investments into Saudi Arabia, you have to offer it at a lower price. And this is something that Saudi Arabia cannot afford when it comes to all of its projects and Vision 2030. This is why Saudi Arabia loves it if, for example, Israel could just destroy Hamas, but at the same time, they don't like it when the war just drags on and on and on and on, because they don't want war in the region. They really need to show that the Middle East is, that the neighborhood is stable and calm and peaceful. It's really bad for investments when, especially given that we see that sometimes the missiles hit Qatar or Saudi Arabia if there is war in that area, and investors hate war and they run away to investment money is very sensitive to war. Unlike when people say like, oh, rich people want war because they make money from it, it's actually mostly the other way around. Big money hates war. Rich people hate war. They run away from it. It shows lack of stability, right? So this is why the Islamic Republic, ironically, found a great powerful lobby in Washington, which is this guy. Even though this guy is an enemy of the Islamic Republic, he's effectively working as the most powerful lobby the Islamic Republic never dreamed of ever being able to have in Washington, sitting right next to Trump. All that Saudi money is working right now in favor of the Islamic Republic interest, because both the Islamic Republic and Saudi Arabia are trying to avoid a war. You guys understand? This is very important. So the reason why you see Trump constantly holding Israel back when Israel attacks the Islamic Republic and almost finishing the job is because this man, and also the sheikhs in Qatar and UAE, are really, really, really worried about a civil war or a power vacuum or instability if the regime in Iran falls. They're really afraid of that. And the Islamic Republic has figured out that they're afraid of that, and they have tried to do some things to increase their worry by showing that, yeah, things are going to get really messy and very chaotic if we fall, right? And you don't know what's going to happen to Aramco or your oil interests. Oh my God, it's going to be horrible, right? Anyways, this is why the Islamic Republic is basically is sitting right next to Donald Trump here, but in the form of Mohammed bin Salman. And all of that money that is being spent on making this happen, the Islamic Republic is benefiting from that without spending a dime of its own, by just making sure that it acts like a crazy person that will go, that might go actually mental if it's really close to falling apart. It's going to go mental against Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia, because this is what the Islamic Republic has correctly calculated. I might be too pathetically weak to be able to attack Israel or any US bases in the region, but I am not too weak to attack Saudi interests or the UAE interests or Qatari interests. I'm not going to be able to touch Israel or US bases, but I could touch those really tall, glassy buildings in Dubai. Imagine Dubai having some missiles being dropped on it. I'm sure they wouldn't like that. That would be really bad for tourism, real estate prices, and investments in Dubai, for example, right? or Aramco interests in the Persian Gulf. I could hit those. I could reach those. So by being able to reach those, I cannot reach Tel Aviv effectively, but I could reach Saudi interests in the Persian Gulf. And by being a threat to Saudi Arabia, you turn Saudi Arabia into a lobby of your interests in Washington. And this is why Saudi money means that Trump is going to stop Israel from finishing the job in Tehran. So basically, the Islamic Republic has found a way to get Trump to hold back Israel. You see how it works? So the mullahs in Tehran threaten Saudi interests. If they fall, Saudis invest in Trump-owned businesses to get them to do what they want. And one of them, because of the threat of the Islamic Republic, is to put pressure on Israel when it comes to what they want to do against the Islamic Republic. And that's how the Islamic Republic is holding back Israel. Not because they are powerful, but they have managed to find a way to get more powerful people than themselves to hold back Israel. And in this way, Trump is now actually, unfortunately, working on behalf of the Islamic Republic's interests. So when you say, for example, in the 12-day war, when Israel on the last days of the war was about to basically finish the job and bomb the remaining politicians and maybe even Khamenei himself, this is why you saw Trump came out and posted on Truth Social, shout in all caps saying, "Bring back your pilots." And he started swearing at Israel, using the F word against Israel. And this is why Trump came out and said, "I saved Khamenei's life." That's what he said. He said Khamenei would have been dead if it wasn't because of me. And now you see why all of this is happening.
You've been fully briefed on.
So now let's look at the question again.
Just peacefully in the region, and we will do our best to reach that date.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement?
Guys, did you guys understood all those connections? Because I really want the people who watch this channel to understand these. Did I paint a understandable picture for you guys? And have you seen it in this way before? Let me know if that was good, that was educational for you, because I want you guys I want the people on this channel to be more at a higher level compared to other channels.
And we will do our best to reach that date.
And the defense agreement, have you reached agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Okay.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that? And are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
Well, we are close allies. We'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the rest of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfies the region and the world and the rest of America. So we will do our best to see that they happen.
And by the way,
wait one more time.
I believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that.
So a good deal. Basically a strategy of appeasement. A good deal with Iran, he says. There should be no negotiation with terrorists. There should be no appeasement with the Islamic Republic, with IRGC. Like, when is the United States, this is why the United States doesn't learn this. This is what Israel understands and United States refuse to understand. Trump is negotiating with Hamas, negotiating with Hezbollah, negotiating with the Houthis, negotiating with IRGC. You don't negotiate with terrorists. You eliminate them. You destroy them. And Mohammed bin Salman is now talking about we hope we have a good deal. Why would you want to deal with terrorists? The reason why we are here at all is because you guys constantly try to negotiate with them instead of ending them. Guys, the reason why so many of these crazy countries don't have nuclear bomb is because Israel bombed the shit out of them. I mean, look, if you, again, every time you just look at North Korea, they tried to stop their nuclear programs by talking to them, by negotiating with them. It failed. They have they have nuclear weapons. But that's not what Israel did when Iraq was going to become nuclear. They bombed them. They didn't negotiate with them. They bombed their nuclear program, and now they have 0 nukes. When Syria was developing a nuclear program, Israel bombed their nuclear program, and now they have no nukes. They didn't negotiate with them. They didn't sign deals with them. They just bombed their nuclear program. You keep trying to do deals with the Islamic Republic. They're not interested in deals. They're using your deals as excuses to buy time. Deals for terrorists, for Hamas, for Hezbollah, for IRGC. Every time you want to do a deal for them, they're not actually interested in abiding to the terms of the deal. They just want to sit at the table while they figure out how to enrich uranium more, or build their missiles more, or find or recover from the last time Israel actually did the job of hitting them where it hurts. So every time Israel does a good job in disarming them, or killing them, or eliminating them, or destroying their launchers, or all their other facilities, they come begging to the West for like, hey, let's have a deal. And they sit at the table, and while they're at the table, they're like, okay, while we're talking, can you hold Israel back? And they're like, they're listening. But behind the scenes, they're just recovering. They're just acting like they're listening. They're interested in the deal because they're buying time to recover. This is why the Islamic Republic keeps getting better at enriching uranium. All of these years of negotiations was only time for them to get better. And this is why every single new deal was better for them compared to the deal that you were negotiating with them before, because they were now more advanced. If you listen to Israel, they wouldn't even get to this point. If you just let Israel do its thing, you wouldn't even get to this point. It would be over by now.
Between the rest of America and Iran, and we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the rest of America. So we will do our best to see that they happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran. And
how is this not the same strategy of appeasement with the Democrats? How is this different from the Democrats? He wants to do a deal with the Islamic Republic. You have them cornered. Well, you don't. Israel did all the job for you. You just need to push, make the final push. They're at the edge of a cliff. Israel has done everything for you. You just need to do the final push, and it's over. They killed all of the main IRGC commanders. They removed half of their launchers. Their entire defense system is exploded. Their entire airspace is accessible to anyone's Air Force. It's basically an open field to anybody to just go in and do whatever they want. And now you want to negotiate with them where they are this weak? You have the chance to get rid of this evil once and for all and do a whole world a favor. You want to do another deal for them? All of the efforts of Israel is going to go poof, because they will recover. All of these deals means that everything Israel achieved in Iran, it will all be wasted, because you're giving them an opportunity to not just recover, but learn from their mistakes. This is one of the biggest mistakes the world is making right now. Israel did all the job to bring this great evil of Islamic Republic so close to the edge of collapse. And now United States is saving the Islamic Republic by wanting to do another deal with them. How has that worked out for you? Like, how many times do you have to try doing deals with the Islamic Republic for you to realize it doesn't fucking work? These people live in a different reality. They're not interested in prosperity. They're not interested in trade. They're interested in being the means for the coming of the Mahdi. You're not dealing with normal people. These people want the end of all of you, not the end of Israel, the end of all of you. That's what they're set on. You want to do deals with them? What has to happen for you guys to learn the nature of these people? Like how many times they have to violate the previous deals that you agreed with them for you to understand that this is not the way?
Badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it, and we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, I mean, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Do we have a timeline?
Yeah, he's right. The Islamic Republic is desperate for a deal right now. You know why? Because their survival depends on it. So why would you help them survive? Why? Stop it. Just stop.
They say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Do we have a timeline?
That you are going to sell 35 F-35 jets. You are planning. You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question was,
Well, I just said it. I mean, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the end of the question, I
is
guess.
it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best offensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I'd like to ask you about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goals to achieve the vision of 2050.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that would really add value to American economy, but also to add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global migration to Saudi Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing with the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use.
Did he say GDP instead of GDP? Because Arabs don't have P.
The Saudi Arabia GDP growing.
It says GDP. Instead of GDP, he said GDP. Is it because you don't have the P sound in Arabic? I mean, you're speaking English. You have to say the P.
As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global migration to Saudi Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing.
You know, in Arab countries, you know, Pepsi bottles, you know what it says on Pepsi bottles in Arabic? It says Bipsi. Bipsi. I'm not making this up. They replace the P with B.
With the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, in our relationship.
You know, I think AI is the future, but a lot of this government involvement makes it more likely for it to be a bubble and would need a correction. And I think if the correction happens, it would be good for AI so that a lot of the fat is cut out and only the real good projects remain. So guys, if the AI bubble bursts, that doesn't mean AI is bad and AI is not going to be productive. That just means that there's a lot of nonsensical there's a lot of fat that needs to be cut out. So AI, if there's an AI bubble right now, a burst in the AI bubble is good for AI because only the sane projects that are productive would remain.
With China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them.
But I don't know if Trump's presidency was going to, because Trump's branding is very much on focus on AI when it comes to the economy. And I know Trump's popularity right now is very, very low. And I wonder if there is a burst in the AI bubble, what is that going to do to Trump's popularity? If there is a burst in the bubble.
And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up.
Guys, did you know that the value of NVIDIA is more than Germany? Did you guys know that? The total value of NVIDIA as a company is higher than the country of Germany. Yeah. Which is the largest economy of Europe. Germany is the largest economy of Europe. So let that sink in.
Farm products, they're pretty much on schedules.
And think how big America is, that one of its companies has a total value that is bigger than the entire economy of the greatest economy of Europe. Yeah. One of its companies.
And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up. It would be good. Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
Sorry, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince and Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
It should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness.
So if you cannot call it fake news if it's challenging, it's from Saudi Arabia.
Just picking up on something you've just mentioned.
I mean, how likely it is that this is Saudi Arabia's media. So what are the chances that he's going to ask a challenging question? He just called Mohammed bin Salman, Your Highness, or whatever. There is very low chances that the question is going to be challenging.
Your Royal Highness.
Maybe he's going to get executed if he asks a challenging question.
Just picking up on something you've just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the...
Why is Mohammed bin Salman keep going like this? Like, you see his face? Like, why does he do that? Is he nervous?
Mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading? And what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades. And the opportunities that we have today, it's huge. And seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter on this relation that will add value to both of us.
When you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody.
Everybody, sure.
You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody. A man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions. We didn't say, you can't talk about this. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country. But there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here.
I don't know. He's from Saudi Arabia. I don't think he can ask any questions. I mean, you might allow him to ask whatever question that he wants here, But if he goes back, this guy has to go back to Saudi Arabia. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's free to ask any questions that he wants.
It's a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media.
I mean, the American media asks you some challenging question and you call them fake news.
That are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we could be sitting here being this open. And, I think it's really a wonderful.
I mean, you're not being very open, because if I ask you, if I was a journalist there and I was asking you a tough question about how much money, for example, the Saudis are investing in your family, you're allowing me to ask that question, but then you call me fake news, and then you give me an answer that doesn't actually answer any of my questions, and then you will move to the next reporter. So you could act like you're being transparent, but like I really want to know like more details regarding. I mean, even if you are being first of all, you don't answer the questions. You just give a very shallow answer, and then you move to the next journalist. So yeah, just because we can ask questions, that doesn't mean that we're getting the answers, right? But even if you were being transparent, then you would just be transparent with your corruption. It would be transparently corrupt. So I don't know if that's any better. Let me see. Andika just gave us a super chat. Because we know, like, if we have enough information to know that the Saudis are investing in your family. Okay. So, for example, here's some transparency if I wanted to. What if I ask, like, how do you know, like, if this guy is giving you $1 trillion? This is what the journalists should have been asking. I don't know why they're not asking that. The journalists should be like, these people are offering you, the Saudis are offering you $1 trillion in investments. But I basically calculated the numbers, and they cannot actually make that. They cannot make that investment. They don't have enough that money for themselves, let alone for investing in the United States. So where is that money coming from? I mean, if I ask that, would you actually give me a breakdown of where that money is going to come from? Are you going to be like, first of all, I'm fake news, and then you're just going to just do an insult and just say, brag about how much money they have, and then move on to the next journalist? You're not going to give me a breakdown of where the $1 trillion is coming from. I'm not going to get that. So how is that transparency? How is that transparent in any way? Okay, let's see what the super chat was. Andika is saying, what's up with the likes? Mamdani's oval got 100K views and 200 likes. Bots? No, these are, I don't know. Yeah, guys, like the stream. I mean, YouTube is not like Instagram. The YouTube is very good at removing bots. Also, was getting worried you'd lost your ability to critique the, what is that? Oh, the Trump. Okay. No, of course. Guys, just because I compliment Trump when he does something right, like, I'm just not that black and white, okay? I'm not binary. I'm not 0 and 1. Trump has done many things that I admire, and when he fucks up, I also tell you that he fucked up. So I'm pretty good at not going 100% in one direction. Yeah, but thank you for the super chat. Also, let me know in the chat if you have liked the stream. Make yourself know. Make sure that people know that you're not bots. Like the stream so that the likes increase, so that more people end up watching our shows.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the world, you are seen as a peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, you said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi.
Yeah, because he's pissing his pants every night thinking about what would the Islamists do if they could do a revolution in his country. Guys, these people, the Saudis, are very, very scared because they're crunching the numbers and they're saying, like, we don't have enough. This is why they're so desperate for Vision 2030, because they also know that at some point oil and gas is not going to be good enough. So they need to diversify their economy away from just oil and gas, and it's not happening fast enough. So Saudi Arabia's government budget is, I think last time I checked, it was, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think it was 80% based on oil and gas. So imagine if technology just brings up, like, imagine if solar panels become dirt cheap, or I don't know, if tomorrow we discover, in a few years, we discover fusion technology or better ways to reduce waste in energy, and the price of oil and gas plummets. What was going to happen to Saudi Arabia? They're not going to be able to hold the Islamists back anymore. So I think the Saudis know how bad the situation is, and they need to figure out a way. Guys, for Saudi Arabia, they're either going to really succeed, or they're going to, go down, you're going to crash and burn. It's really difficult situation for them, but they need to diversify from oil and gas away fast, and it's not happening as fast as they want. That's the whole point of Vision 2030, and it's not going well for them. It's not going well for them. Where's the line, by the way? Has anybody seen the latest progress on the line? You know what I'm talking about? The line city, because they're not promoting it as much as before anymore. It seems like it's not going well.
Said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night.
Oh yeah, guys, we need to go. We need to go to our group. Thank you, somebody in the chat. Amir is reminding me that we need to go and have our group call. Guys, our group call is free. Come and join our group call. We'll just go have these conversations together in our group call. I'll put the link in the chat. Guys, can somebody check the link and see if it's working? Click on the link and tell me if it takes you to our group. So, guys, we have a group over there. We get together and we have group calls and we talk there. Anybody could open their mic, or if you want, you could just listen. So I put the link to our group there. Right in 13 minutes, in 12 minutes, we're going to go and have a call there. So is the link working? Can anyone confirm? Check. Link works. Okay, fantastic. All right. So yeah, let's just hop over there and have our conversation there. Also, the link is also in the description if you want to copy it from there. Make sure you like the stream and make sure you follow us for more live streams like this. We have a lot of fun here. And yeah, so see you guys in the group call. I'm Israel Chai, Javid Shah. See you same time tomorrow.